very powerful new moon, and if we can find a good balance between our logical mind and our spiritual selves, as we always should be doing, but even more so now because it can be very tempting to get sucked into illusions. And hey guys, welcome or welcome back. We're doing a new moon horoscope for the new moon in lovely Gemini. It is going to be on Sunday, June 18th, 2023 at 12:37 a.m. Eastern time for anyone in the Eastern time zone, of course. Anyone else is going to be on late Saturday night, and it is happening at 26 degrees and 43 minutes of Gemini. I want to mention that this is going to be a little bit of an illusionary and confusing new moon. Normally a new moon is a new beginning, but there is going to be some haziness and confusion, like I said, to the element of the new beginning that's being initiated in the Gemini area of your chart. You're going to want to look at the house that's ruled by Gemini in your chart, as well as the exact degree of 26 degrees of Gemini. You're going to want to look at any planets that fall in Gemini natally. We have a lot going on in the astrology, so let's just go ahead and jump right into it. Is in the logical air sign of Gemini, but we also have a square from this new moon, almost an exact square over to Neptune and Pisces. If you guys have seen my other videos, you know that I talk about Neptune and Pisces being Piscean energy times 1,000. We also have Saturn there now, and Saturn is actually stationing retrograde the day before this new moon, and that is definitely changing the energy of where Pisces is in your chart 100%. But this discrepancy between the logical, analytical way of thinking in Gemini is being disrupted by that square to Neptune and Pisces. And the key here to me is to find a balance of analytical and logical thinking and our spiritual, more go with the flow type of energy that we have from Pisces. So there is definitely going to be an element of both here. And I think this is really about not going too far with either one, because our intuition is definitely going to be heightened, but our logical mind is going to try to think our way through the downloads that we're getting at this time. And that's not really how it's going to work for us. I definitely would advise against making any important decisions, big decisions, changes, financial decisions, anything that is like a big choice or decision to make at this time. I would highly advise against not doing right now, at least until the weekend is over. And really until we get to the full moon in Capricorn, that is when things are going to become more clear to us in which way to go, decisions to make, or, choices that have to be made. Mercury is also in the sign of Gemini. And as you guys probably know, Mercury is at home in the sign of Gemini. So this just heightens that analytical and logical side of our minds in the sign of Gemini, but it is making a sextile over to Venus and Mars in the sign of lovely Leo. And Venus and Leo will actually not make a complete conjunction because they are at a 5-degree orb of a conjunction currently, and they won't make an exact conjunction this time around. But Venus and Mars being in the sign of Leo just really heightens the creative aspects of this new moon. Even though they're not specifically aspecting the new moon itself, the energy is still present. So that fun, go, kind of go have fun type of energy is very much heightened. Dating, creativity, sexuality, those things are all most definitely heightened at this time, and Mercury is sextiling that energy in the sign of Gemini. There's definitely a social aspect with that Mars and Venus sextiling over to Mercury in Gemini, so we could feel more in tune with being social at this time, but there's also a very introverted energy. That's why this new moon is so weird, because it's not like it's all or nothing. We have some energies in more logical elements, and then we have some energy in more spiritual, watery elements. So it's really, again, it's about finding that balance. Also worth mentioning, this new moon is making a trine to the south node in Scorpio. As you guys probably know as well, the nodes are getting ready to shift into Aries, Libra. So this trine to me is really about a new beginning, but we're analytically looking at our wounds, our shadows, anything from the south node in Scorpio. Look at where Scorpio is in your chart. And those are the things that we can kind of analytically analyze in order to let them go. So we can acknowledge things from the past year and a half that are kind of darker parts of ourselves that we've been holding on to, but it's time to let them go so that we can move into the new nodal transit, which will be happening in July. I will do a horoscope on that particular transit because that's a huge transit. So keep your eye out for that as well. The dispositor of this new moon is Saturn, of course, and like I mentioned, Saturn is stationing retrograde the day before this new moon, and Saturn is reviewing and going over our discipline, our time, our restriction in the area of Pisces in our chart. So definitely take a look at where Pisces is in your chart. But to me, this is very much heightened energy of where have we gone overboard, because Pisces is the last sign of the zodiac. It is very much overindulgence and overdoing things, getting too, lost in the sauce, or you're too high up in the clouds, too much in the sky, and you're not grounding your energy out and bringing yourself down back to earth. This is really kind of taking a look at that. Where have we overdone ourselves, and not really paid attention to our spiritual health, our physical health, or our mental health? Saturn is making a sextile to the North Node and Jupiter in the sign of Taurus. So to me, this is emphasizing that final push and reaping the rewards from all the hard work we have done over the last year and a half nodal transit. And Saturn is kind of reviewing things that just need to be polished up and cleared up in order for us to reap what we've sown and to get the rewards of all the work we put in over the last year and a half. Again, this new moon is very much heightened intuition, but also heightened deceptions. So I am strongly advising against making any major changes, any major decisions, or any major moves, financial decisions, etc. At the time this new moon. Kind of wait it out, at least, midweek if you can. Things are not going to be clear, but they will become more clear to us as we go into the waxing phase of the lunation cycle and we go into the full moon energies of the full moon in Capricorn, which will be happening next month. But yeah, it is a very powerful new moon, and if we can find a good balance between our logical mind and our spiritual selves, as we always should be doing, but even more so now, because it can be very tempting to get sucked into illusions and not having all the facts. So if there is things that need to be understood or decisions that need to be made, I would just really sit on the decisions that need to be made as long as you possibly can, and make sure you have all the facts right, make sure you have all the information, make sure you have double checked all your boxes. You know what I'm trying to say? Double check everything, make sure everything is good to go before making any moves or decisions at this time. Let me know in the comments down below where 26 degrees of Gemini is in your chart. I'm curious to know where this new moon is happening for you. And if you aren't already subscribed to my channel, go ahead and do that and smash that like button. It really does help me out. If you guys want to book a private reading with me, you can message me on Instagram, TikTok, or Facebook, and I will see you guys in the next one. I love you so much.